Okay. So welcome to the team call for Revelation Fitness. I apologize. I didn't have the top 10 because the back office has been down literally all day. And the minute my girlfriend messaged me as I'm stepping out of the shower that the back office is now back up and running. I'm like, oh, great. Now I have to leave. Of course that happens. So I'll get those out tomorrow. For everyone for the top 10. But tonight we have a guest call or guest speaker. Every week this month we have a guest speaker, and kicking it off for June is Miss Bianca O'Brien. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a 1-star and 2-star qualifying, correct? Okay. So she has recently, well, probably in the past 4 or 5 months, completely taken off with the business and finding her niche and creating so many new contacts that she's got this overflow. So she's going to be talking about how growing your contact list is going to grow your business. And I think everybody can benefit from this because I feel like there's a lot of, especially newer coaches, scared to friend request people they don't know. They don't know how to do it. They don't know where to go. So any way that we can find through Facebook or whatever to add new contacts to our Facebook page so that we have more eyes on our stuff is going to be beneficial it's going to speak to everyone pretty much in some way. So I think she has a slideshow. So without further ado, here's Miss Bianca and her little baby.
Yeah, hi guys. I apologize in advance if Bea starts talking because every time I start talking, she thinks I'm talking to her, so she starts talking too.
It's all right. She's adorable.
She's hanging out. My husband's out of town, so she's hanging out with me tonight. The PowerPoint up for you guys. All right, here it is. I like PowerPoint because I ramble and I just go off on different directions if I don't have something to kind of guide me. So yeah, so like Kaylee was saying, we are going to talk about how to grow your contact list. When I started as a coach back in October of 2013, I started as a discount and I had no intentions of growing a business. I just kind of got pushed into it. My friend Kristen, who you guys probably know, Kristen Richards, she kind of talked me into it, and I was doing Insanity before anything else, so I was already kind of familiar with Beachbody and her products, and I was a believer. But then I started drinking Shakeology, and I loved it, and she talked me into being a discount coach, so I did. She wanted me to be Emerald, which I had no idea what Emerald was, so I went ahead and I helped her out, and I signed up 2 people, which was my best friend and my husband, and I just did it for her, had no intentions of working the business. And then little by little, I just kind of grew on me because people were watching me and they were seeing my transformation. And so I realized at one point that, hey, I had no self-confidence. I didn't think I could be a good coach. And at some point, with a lot of personal development, I realized that I could be a good coach. And so I started coaching. At that point, I had about 400 people, maybe a little bit over 400, but definitely less than 500 people on my Facebook list. And as I was doing my invites, I realized that really, really soon I was going to run out of people to talk to. And I was like, well, this is not going to work. I started looking at all the other coaches, and everybody had like 1,000 friends on Facebook. And I was like, well, this is not going to work for me because I don't have that many friends. I'm not that popular. So being the good little personal development person that I am, I don't take adversity. So when I saw that my list was that small, I knew that I had to do something about it. And I don't give up. If something is in front of me, I love challenges. So I was like, well, I'm going to sit out and I'm going to grow this contact list. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be creative about it, but I'm going to do it. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to share with you guys what I've done. And like Kaylee was saying, I really, really started working my business since Summit last year, but I was pregnant, so I was kind of limited on how much I could do. But after I had Valentina, which was 6 months ago, then my business really took off. So I'm going to say that this contact list was really built from January to now. And I have about 1,500 friends on Facebook now. So I grew from 400 to 1,500 in a really, really short amount of time. So all right, let me show you guys what I did. So first of all, let's talk about why we need it. And I already kind of went through that. Beachbody knows we need it. And, they already tell us to do it. It's on the BAT. You're supposed to be adding 3 to 5 people every day to your contact list. The reason is, like we were saying, you may run out of people to talk to. It's a fear, and it's a valid fear. If you only have 400 people, your reach is only 400 people. And out of those 400 people, the people that are actually listening to you is very limited. So, you really need to grow it, and so you can expand your reach, and you don't run out of people to talk to. I hate to admit it, but coaching is a game of numbers. And, you're only going to be as successful as your reach. So the more people that you talk to on a daily basis, and the more people that you reach out to, the better your chances of succeeding in this business. I literally wake up each day and I think to myself, where can I look, or what can I do to find people like me? Find people who get me, who understand me, who know the mission that I'm on, and that want to be a part of it. And that's really my focus. Because your day gets so busy, and you get so busy with busy work. Whatever it is that you're doing that you think is necessary for your business, it kind of can distract you from your main mission, which is to find people who are like you. So if you're doing something that's not completely related to that, it's not that important. So stop what you're doing and go back to your mission, which, like I told you guys, I wake up and I think of this every day. And literally that's what guides my day. So let's start with the easiest, which everybody's heard it. You're supposed to be adding your mutual friends on Facebook. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what I did in the beginning, definitely, because I had no idea what I was doing. It's great. I still do it sometimes. It's a quick and easy way to do it. There's a good chance that the mutual people that they're going to see, like, you friend request a friend of your brother's. They're like, well, I know her brother, and her brother's really cool, so let me just go ahead and friend her. So there's a good chance that credibility will get you somewhere, or at least get you in the door. The bad thing is that it's also risky, because people can say they don't know you, and if enough people say they don't know you, you're going to get into Facebook jail. And this is the main reason why I avoided it. I think I watched Kristen go into prison so many times that I was just like, I don't want to do that. I want to piss off Facebook. Facebook is my friend, and I want to stay that way. So I actually never went to Facebook jail, thank God. And I think, I do the mutual friends things, but if you go that route, then make sure you go back and you undo the friend request, the old friend request that you have. And if you don't know how to do that, we'll show you. But make sure you do that every so often, so you don't have a whole bunch of pending requests, because that counts against you. The one thing that was really uncomfortable for me was to talk to people. I'm a little bit of an introvert, and I don't like salespeople, so I don't like, it was really difficult for me to talk about Beachbody without sounding salesy. And that was just because it was my self-confidence thing. I thought people were thinking that I had my best interest in mind and not theirs. I shifted that focus, and now everywhere I go, wherever it is, my pediatrician's office, my nail salon, wherever it is, I always find a way to kind of bring Beachbody into it. It kind of like just naturally pops up because it's such a big part of my life now. So it doesn't sound salesy anymore. Like it just kind of flows. And I'll tell you a big lesson that I have from that. For 9 months, I saw my midwife, and I brought the very first visit that we had, I brought my Shakeology bag with me, and I showed it to her, and I said, can I drink this stuff while I'm pregnant? And she said, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. Yes, of course you can drink it. Let's just monitor you. And every time I went in, she was so impressed with my lab work, and my whole pregnancy was just so healthy, and she was so impressed with it. Finally, 6 weeks after I have B, I go in to talk to her, and she's like, oh my God, you know that stuff that you drank? I signed up, I'm a coach now. And I'm like, I never thought that my doctor would want to drink Shakeology, so I never talked to her about it. And you know what? I didn't invite her, so somebody else did, and now she's a coach, and she's a coach under someone else. All because I didn't want to talk to her and invite her to the opportunity. So now, everywhere I go, everybody gets talked to about it. I tell everyone, everybody knows I'm a coach. It's not like a big thing for me anymore. Just make it, if it's hard for you, just practice, talk to your kids about it, just make it like I said, like in a conversation, just make it flow. Be sure to ask for referrals. If you know people who are on it and you talk to them, ask them for, let them know to send people to you if they don't want to work the business. Be social when you go out. Talk to people. One thing, I listened to the Chalene Johnson podcast. I don't know if you guys hear it, listen to it. but there was one that talked about, you know, how to be likable. And one thing is that you should be interested and not interesting. So ask a lot of questions. You know, when you're talking to people, be curious, ask them what they do. You know, make sure you form that relationship with them. Go to the gym if you have to. You know, get out more. If you're just hiding behind your Facebook, which is great for introverts, I know, because I'm an introvert, and for me, it's awesome. I prefer to do it that way. But I go to a Zumba class every once in a while. I make new friends. I go to the playground. I talk to moms. Like, I make it a mission to go to the playground and talk to people. Like, I say, I'm not leaving this playground until I talk to 2 moms. And I do. And it just kind of flows. Like, one of my coaches, I don't know if she's on the call, but Marcella, we met at a birthday party. A friend of hers had a birthday party. And I went, and we got to talking, and she was pregnant, and I was pregnant. And, you know, just talking to her about random things and how we had moved in and we had no furniture in the house or whatever. And she's like, well, I'm an interior designer. I'm like, oh my gosh, I might need your help. Can I get your Facebook? Are you on Facebook? That's just how I do it. Are you on Facebook? And they're like, yeah, I'm sitting there speaking. Can you plug that into your phone? Find me. And they do, you know, and then they're like, oh yeah, here you are. Because it's an easy name. It's a catchy name. So they're like, oh yeah, here you are. And they add me. She's my coach now. She actually just won the Emerald today. So, and her husband asked her, like, what did this girl do for you to give her your Facebook? Because you're very private with that. And I was just like, well, I didn't make it seem icky. I didn't make it seem weird. We were just talking, and, you know, I asked for it, and she's like, okay. I swear to you guys, I've never had somebody say no. I say, are you on Facebook? They're like, yeah. Like, oh, find me. They're like, okay. It's so easy. It's very easy. Just do it. Another way is to host a fit club. I know a lot of coaches do that. I don't personally, but that's another way. Just get out and meet people, talk to people. This is network marketing. You should network. All right, so this is the main thing that I did that really, really grew my business. So finding Facebook groups. You should start thinking to yourself, what are the things that interest you, your hobbies, the things that like say something about you or something that you're really interested in or something that you really like. Like, I love volleyball. I played it in high school. I'm in a volleyball group. This group, I decided that I was going to look for Brazilian moms in Florida. And I found some. I found a couple of groups that were just for mommies. And I went in there and I made a presence for myself. Like, I would post, I would comment on people's stuff, I would like it, I would give tips, I would ask questions. I just kind of made myself known in that group where people were looking to me and they were like, oh, everybody knew who I was. At that point, that everybody knew me, it had been like a month or maybe 2 that I had been like actively posting in that group. I went and I messaged the administrator of that group. And I asked her permission to post something. I said, well, you know what, I've real, and this was totally genuine. They were doing really, really weird stuff to lose weight. And every time they did, I bit my tongue. And I wanted to go there and beach body vomit on everybody. Like, you shouldn't do that. Like, you should do this challenge group with me. But I didn't. I bit my tongue. And then I went to this admin and I asked her, I was like, you know what? I told her to scoop. I was like, I'm a beach body coach. And, you know, I'm watching what's happening in this group. And, you know, I have a way to help these people. And I'm thinking of making a free group to invite them and just teach them about clean eating and teach them about, and I just told her the story. And I was like, would it be okay with you if I posted about this group in your group? And she's like, oh my God, yeah, make sure you add me. And that like made the whole difference because I had her support. So this group had about 3,000 people in it. And I made that post, and I kid you not, that same day I had like 300 or 400 people join my group. And it was all about the trust that I had gained from them that made them follow me. And now this group is like, it has like 700, 800 people. There's a bunch of funding requests that I haven't approved yet. But for everybody that requests to join this group, I add them as my friend on Facebook first. So I send them a friend request, and I don't let them in the group until they have accepted me as a friend. So that literally, that was like the #1 thing that just kind of like blew my Facebook. So I would suggest that you guys go back and do the same thing. Like, think about it. Think about what kind of groups would interest you and search and go in. And do ask the admin first because they have all the power to delete your stuff, because I delete stuff that people post on my group all the time. So, you know, make sure you make that relationship with that admin first before you start posting stuff and, you know, posting about groups or whatever in that group. So that's my ongoing group, the Brazilian Mommies, which Kaylee thought was Brazilian Homies. that's an inside joke. Find something that's your niche. You know, that's the one thing that's going to say something about you. The way I look at it is that one thing that people look to you and are always asking you questions about, that's your niche. That's your thing that's different, that sets you apart. So use that to your advantage. That's something that people appreciate you for. So offer that, invite people and have people invite their friends. That's what I do in my group. I say, you know, if you have a friend who's looking to lose weight and blah, 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 and could use this, it could benefit from this information, add them to the group. And they, of course, friend request me. You can set it in your group so that you have to approve every request. Doesn't matter who invites it. So that's how it kind of ends up getting back to me. I post on that group every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You kind of have to build rapport with them. So you know, if you're offering something of value, then they're going to stick around and they're going to engage and they're going to be, you know, active in your group. And they're going to start seeing you in that leadership role. If you make it so you only post once a week or you post once a month, then they're just there. They're not really they're not engaging. There's no point. Might as well not do it. I don't post anything about Beachbody on that group. And the reason for it is because it's a free group. I invited those people there because I wanted to offer them, you know, free advice. Now, if you think about it, they're all my friends on my Facebook list. So they're seeing Beachbody stuff, you know, they're seeing my stuff that I post on my regular wall. So I don't need to post Beachbody stuff on this group. Occasionally I might throw something in there because somebody will ask, but normally I don't. So just make sure that you make a schedule and you routinely post on it and just limit the Beachbody posts. Another thing you can do is use other sources of social media. And I know a lot of people, they have like their like page, their blog, their Instagram, and you know, everything. The one thing that I would say is don't waste your time doing busy work and creating an account for every single social media there is out there if it doesn't apply to you. Like I know my niche is the mom that wants to clean eat and look at and find like healthy kids recipes. So for that reason, I created a blog because as a mom, like I thought what I was doing before I became a coach, and that would be like I'll come home and I'd have, I don't know, a pound of tilapia on my hands, and I would go on my internet and I would search tilapia recipes, and what would pop up would be blogs and Pinterest. You know, that's what I would find up on my search. Yes, I know. So that's what I did. I created a blog because I want those moms to find me. And I also want them to find my Pinterest. So I linked my blog to my Pinterest, to my like page, and that's all I have. I do have an Instagram account, but I'll be honest with you guys, I post on there. I have a lot of followers, but I don't really get much business from it. So I don't devote as much time to it as I know other coaches do. Like I know a lot of people who do really well with Instagram. I'm not one of them. My people are now on Instagram. So to me, it doesn't make sense to do that, you know. So I just like kind of let that go. You got to realize that whatever social media you're investing time in, it's taking away from the other ones that you have. So find out where your business comes from and just kind of stick to that. You know, stick to what works. There's no sense in spreading your time everywhere if it's not really doing anything for you. All right, well, and now to leave you guys with this thought, you know, you're here to create a following. You don't just want numbers on your Facebook, you want people who follow you and who listen to you and follow your advice and who trust you. So that's creating a following. It's not just putting numbers on a wall. One thing that I've done, and I got this from Chalene Johnson as well, I build an email list. So I have created a file that I have with healthy recipes, and it's a meal plan, and it's color coded because it's the 21-day fix, and it's got the recipes for everything. It's a file. It took me like 2 to 3 hours to make it, but I have that, and I love to email that to people. I have it in Portuguese and in English, and you know, when I talk to people, I ask them for their email so I can send them this file. It's something free that I give them, but I'm doing this for an exchange of their email address. And the reason why I do this is because I don't expect Facebook to last forever. I don't know if you guys remember MySpace, but you know, it's gone. And I don't want to rely on Facebook for my business. So if Facebook tomorrow decided that they don't like me and that they were going to shut me down, I don't want to lose my 1,500 contacts. So for that reason, I have an email list that I've built, and that's the way I do it. I ask people if they want the free meal plan, and like 10 times out of 10, they say yes. And I get their email that way, and I have an email list that's just for contacts. And occasionally, I don't do it all the time, but occasionally I'll send them an email out, talking about some kind of Beachbody promotion or a launch or something like that. And that does get me customers. And if nothing, it gets me volume. So, do that. Also, I get phone numbers as well. On my contact list, I always ask them for phone numbers. I like to talk to people to sign them up. I don't like to do it over Facebook anymore. A lot of things go wrong when you just do it on Facebook. You send them a link, they mess it up. So I get on the phone with them a lot of times to sign them up. And so I just ask for the phone number. Also, the conversation on Facebook going back and forth when you're trying to sell them a challenge pack, it just takes forever. Get on the phone, 20 minutes is done. I don't have time. Make sure you're establishing a relationship outside of social media. If you're just talking to them, even your coaches, if you're just talking to them on Facebook, it kind of loses the personal touch. So make sure you're talking to them like one-on-one, over the phone or go on play dates. Like I do play dates with my coaches just to get like a coach call in. It's easier and it's more personable. Email new customers from Beachbody. I don't know if you guys do this, but when you get a lead, please make sure that you're emailing them. I know I do, and I know that I've added a lot of friends on Facebook because of this. In my email, I have my Facebook, and I have a little video telling them why they should join me, and they see I'm a real person, and that helps. And then they go on and they add me on Facebook. I get them all the time. They do add me on Facebook. So make sure you're not just depending on Facebook though for your business. I always like to end my calls with giving you guys a little personal development on whatever topic it is. Think Like a Rockstar is a freaking awesome book. It talks about how to use social media to grow your business, and it's really, really awesome. It's a little pricey, but it's worth every penny. Build Your Tribe is a podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to podcasts, but I'm a big fan. It's old. Chalene Johnson she had shut it down, and then she just brought it back up. So it's there again, and you can listen through the old ones, and they're awesome. It really applies to Beachbody coaches. If you guys have never listened to it, I really recommend it. She has a Chalene show, but it's a little different, more personal development type thing. But Build Your Tribe is awesome for our business. And finally, the one I'm listening to now, I actually have this on Audible, The Millionaire Messenger. Awesome book. Awesome book. Talks about how to share your story, and how he talks about how to take whatever advice you have to give and how to market that, like how to make money with it. So it doesn't matter what he explains to you. You don't have to be an expert on anything to share your advice. He talks about Napoleon Hill and how he had that Think and Grow Rich book, but he wasn't rich. Yeah, everybody bought his book. Like, he didn't know what he was talking about. He wasn't rich. But he interviewed a bunch of people who were, so he was an expert on it. And you can kind of make yourself an expert on other things by researching stuff. So it's a really, really good book. Millionaire Messenger. That one wasn't expensive at all. It's good. You guys should listen to it. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Questions?
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for her about social media or contacts or anything?
Camilla's probably blue in the face hearing this stuff because I say it all the time on our calls.
But now you're on this one, so obviously now that it's gonna like really sink in because you've been asked to do it on this call. Like, obviously you're doing something right. So that's a good thing. I mean, I like the group idea. I personally have been in Facebook jail one time. But that was before I even knew about Facebook jail. My upline wasn't as nice as we are. She didn't warn me about Facebook jail. And I literally friended 100 people in one day.
In one day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're asking for it.
Oh, no, I got it. I got the part. But because of that, I got Kristen.
Oh, so it was worth it.
Totally worth the week in Facebook jail. Yeah. So, I do like the idea of the groups. I know, like, I've tried to do, like moms groups and stuff like that, but I'm sure some of these other people are going to think the same way. Like, A, you're going to feel like you don't have value to add to whatever people are saying, or B, I feel like I don't have time to just go in and post in groups. So,
Yeah, that was
um,
time consuming. You're right.
yeah. So it's just something that has to be.
I wouldn't suggest something that every Beachbody coach could go into. I would suggest something very, very unique to you. That's the one thing that I would say.
We're not
Like
all
all
Brazilian.
about group, like I'm saying, there's groups for everything. There's groups for, like if you search, there's groups of everything. Mom groups, every single other Beachbody coach in the world has thought about mom groups because it just makes sense. This is a good solution for moms. But if you think about it, everybody needs to get healthy. Everybody needs to get fit. So you just got to be creative. The second one, I did the mommy group. That was my first success, my first hit. And then I had the flight attendant group. And I went in there and I offered them tips for taking meals on the road, or healthy meals on the road. And I created a group for that. And that was 500 requests in one day to join that group. So, I would say not mommy, because that's too obvious, but think of something else. Like you have to get creative with that, because I don't know you guys. I don't know what's unique to you. But think about it. Like Camilla, you just graduated, so think about like college groups or something like that. Think outside the box.
It's good homework to.
Yeah.
It's going to make you really think about, who you are, what you like, and pretty much might narrow in on your niche as well if you have a hard time finding what that is. Because yes, there's a ton of mommy groups, but there's a ton of mommy coaches.
Yeah.
So.
That millionaire group that I was talking, the millionaire book that I was talking about, he talks about, okay, so because our thinking is so narrow, we don't stop to think about it. But say my best friend, for example, I know she's super organized. And she doesn't realize this about herself, but every time I go to her house, I'm like, oh my gosh, your cabinets are so organized. Oh my gosh, your closet's so organized. So she's got something about her that's unique that everybody else wants in the world. Like, who doesn't want to be more organized? You know what I mean? So I'm like, you should give tips on organization, or like there's something about everybody. You just don't know because it's so obvious to you. I'd say ask somebody that knows you well and have them look in. Because I know the Brazilian thing, for example, Kristen told me that for years. She told me forever. She's like, you should be talking to this Brazilian. And I was just like, it was so obvious to me, but it's not, like she was right.
Yeah. Send a mass message to your closest friends. See what they think. Hopefully it's nice.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions?
Soul searching.
Yeah.
Hey, mom of little brats.
All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, we will wrap up, let Bianca get back to her kids. Thank you so much for talking with us and putting together the PowerPoint. I'm sure that everyone on this call and anyone who's going to listen to it afterwards is going to pull a lot of information, and hopefully it's going to help everybody's business blow up. But, okay?
Right.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.